faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye, come to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let's adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord.
Sing of angels, singing exaltation. Oh, sing all ye citizens of heaven above.
Glory to God, glory in the highest.
Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Oh, come, let us say,
Come, let us
let us adore the King of Kings in Christ the Lord.
We give you all the glory. We give you all the glory. We give you all the glory.
Praise the Lord. We sing with angels holy. Say, we sing with angels holy. We sing with angels holy. Christ the Lord. You're Christ the Lord. We know you are. You're Christ the Lord. You deserve the glory. You deserve the glory. You deserve the glory. You do. You deserve the glory. Oh yeah. Come on, sing.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Real Talk with Cindy. Been having some technical difficulties tonight. Right now, I'm unable to show your comments, but I will be able to see them on my other device. So please feel free when you have questions, and I'll be able to read them off. So I'm not able to see them on my laptop right now. So I want to welcome everyone, and please share with those family members or friends that you know. Please like the page. Please give us your hearts and let other people know that we are on tonight. My guests are here. So we want to get started tonight with our topic tonight. We are dealing with depression, COVID-19 fatigue, and loneliness. So we want to get started with that. I'm not sure why my comments are not showing, but I do see you, Dolores Housey. Stacy Bent, Diane Dixon, welcome. And I see many of you that are coming on. Brenda Hurst, good evening. Kelly Napper, Kendall Darby, Jacqueline Reed, Dawn Duppins. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me on tonight. And please share as we are coming on. I'm still having some little technical difficulties, but we're going to go on. Coping with depression, loneliness, and COVID-19 on tonight. So I'm going to bring my first guest on. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Unmute your mic.
Hello.
Good to have you
Good evening.
tonight. Yes, this is Apostle Robin Taylor, who happens to be my biological sister. Most of us are sisters for everything, but this is my real sister. And I'm so glad to have her tonight. She's a psychotherapist and she's a minister. Share a little bit about you and about your ministry and also about what you do.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here tonight. So good to be with my sister, Cindy. Just to say a little bit about me, basically, I am a psychotherapist. I have my own private practice, and it's called Sozo Consulting Services.
Mm-hmm.
I started my practice in the year of 2009. I also am a wife and a co-founder of Agape Fellowship Ministries in East Hartford, Connecticut, along with my husband, Apostle Eugene Taylor. And I want to say hey to him. I also have 2 daughters and I have 2 grandchildren. So I'm a proud mom and now a proud BB. That's what they call me, BB.
Right.
So I'm happy to be here tonight to really talk about something that's very serious and important to the people in the world today, just because of what's going on. So thank you for the invite and the invitation. I'm really excited.
Okay, great. And I'm going to bring on our next guest, which is Reverend Kimani. Kimani, how are you this evening?
Good. How are you? Good to see you all.
Good to see you too. So please share a little bit about you and what you do. I know you do quite a bit, and you've been very instrumental and very. I've enjoyed your encouragement to me since I've had this platform. So share a little bit about yourself.
Well, on the professional side, I'm a chaplain, and I got my chaplaincy training back in. I started probably about 2011, and then 2012, I did it at Robert Wood Johnson in Hamilton.
Okay.
On my initial clinical pastoral education training. And then I went on to seminary. And in my very last year of seminary, I decided that I would apply to what they call residency for chaplaincy. And I did that at Robert Wood Johnson in New Brunswick, New Jersey, which was literally right around the corner from my grad school. So, so I've been doing chaplaincy work since 2012. And now I'm a hospice chaplain. I work for one of the largest hospice companies in the world called Vitas Healthcare, which I deal with people that deal with end-of-life issues. So my territory is Northeast Philadelphia and Bucks County in Pennsylvania area.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. I know you are a tremendous asset to the body of Christ, to many people. I've known you for quite some time. So I want to get started with, I want to also continue to welcome those that are joining. Right now, I'm able to share your comments on my screen, but I do have another device and I'm able to see it. So as you have questions, I'll be able to read it to them, as well as they probably will be able to see it. I want to welcome Jacqueline Reed, Mark, McLean Deloach, Apostle Eugene Taylor, which is Robin's husband, Janelle Taylor, and different people that are on here tonight. So let's get started with talking about depression. We hear a lot about depression, and I know for many people, It used to be a thing that, if you were in the church and you say you were depressed, they felt something was wrong with you, literally. But I know now a lot of people are dealing with depression, and it's a real issue. So, Robin, if you can enlighten us on a little bit about depression, coping with it, and what is it? Your mic is muted. Uh-huh.
Sorry, just like you said, Cindy, a lot of people in the church really think that depression is not a real sickness, that a lot of times people are possessed and they have demons in them. But from all of my studies and research, depression is real. I want to start with that foundation, that
Yes.
depression is real. It is a real disease. It was common even in the Bible days, like with some of our prophets, our great and well-known prophets like Elijah, David, different ones. They had experiences that led them into deep depression,
Yeah.
which means basically that they're overwhelmed with sadness. They were lonely, and for no reason, as far as, well, they had reasons, but a lot of times when it's diagnosed here and nowadays, sometimes there's absolutely no reason why a person has depression other than the fact that they have maybe a family history of depression.
Right.
It's been found and it's been known and seen that there is some biological evidence that it can be genetic, and also there's been studies that it can be come from a hormonal problem, also nerve and cell receptors, and it's definitely a brain functionality that is impaired. And so
Right.
depression is real. So I want to establish that right away, that when you hear people say that I'm depressed, that they're not being lazy. It's not just, they have the blues or anything like that, but it is a pervasive sadness. It's something that they chemically have an imbalance to. They don't have enough melatonin, and there's something going on in the brain with the nerve endings that keeps them in that frame of mind where they just can't seem to rise above it. A lot of times also it has to do with a lot of things that they've gone through in their past.
Yeah.
And so past mistakes, and people are just, so broken and so hurt, because sometimes it comes as a result of trauma. It could come as a result of some type of abuse. It could come as a result of a chronic illness. A lot of times when people are ill, they really fall into what they call the state of depression. And the reason they fall into that state is because they feel like they're not going to get better. They're down on themselves, and there's a lot of things that's going through their minds to make them feel like I am no good and I'm worthless. And so it makes them isolate themselves. It makes them feel unwanted. Especially when people have to care for them constantly. That's a
Right.
huge one, that chronic depression from a serious illness. And so their coping skills are reckless. Their coping skills, sometimes some people turn to drugs, and they can turn to alcohol or drinking, and they can turn to or even become suicidal. And
Right.
so this time of year, especially, there's a depression or a mood disorder known as depressive affective disorder. I just got a blank for some reason, but depressive.
Like,
Amen. Depressive affective disorder. And what that disorder is a lot of people, when the weather starts getting cold and it starts getting dark, they fall into a depressive state where they become almost immobile. And it really is something that really affects their affect, how they handle things, how they handle life. Sometimes they can't even go to work. They can't, do their normal routine things because they
right.
just need the light. They're missing the light, and it affects them emotionally. And so it's real when you hear people say, I just can't get out of bed.
Yeah.
They're not lazy. They're not
Right.
being lazy at all. They
Right.
can't get out of bed. And
Mhm.
so what has to happen a lot of times is they have to some way, somehow, first of all,
Mhm.
take vitamin D. That's one way that helps with that particular disorder. But some way, somehow, they need to have light. light is really important because, as I said, it gets darker earlier, and so the depressive mood begins to settle in. So it's real. And another thing about depression is that people feel that people just want self pity.
Right.
But people with clinical depression or any kind of depression, they wish and they will themselves the depression away. They wish
Right.
they could get out of it. So it's not that they're looking for self pity at all. It's
Mhm.
that they really cannot get, bring themselves out of that and motivate themselves to get up and get going and follow their normal routine
Mhm.
and be happy, because it seems like I said, it's a pervasive sadness and they're
Right.
always concerned about things. And
Mhm.
so depression is something that is real. And men, it comes about differently. In men, a lot of times depression appears as them being angry, and
Mhm.
it appears as them being irritable, a
Mhm.
little angst every once in a while, and they
Mhm.
lash out, or they may even appear to be restless. So a lot of times people think depression is only with women, but that's how men express their depression. So when you
Mhm.
see or see a man who's appears to be angry or whatever, it doesn't mean that they're angry necessarily. It could mean that they're depressed, that they
Right.
have depression going on in their lives, and that they're having a difficult time functioning. A lot of times they will also turn to the drugs. It is
Mhm.
most times that the why the men turn to drugs is because they just can't handle life.
Yeah.
And so they turn to drugs. That's how they handle it. Women handle it
Right.
totally different.
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean uh, another myth, I would say, about depression that people always think is that people with depression cry a lot, and they
Mhm.
don't cry a lot. A lot of times they just really just shy away from
Mhm.
everyone and everything. They shy away from the world. They shy away from the people that they love, and
Right.
that's hurtful to them because they
Mhm.
want to be with the people they love. But it's sometimes they're so drained, they're tired,
Mhm.
and all they want to do is sleep. And that's what you'll see in a lot of times in a very depressed person, is
Right.
that you'll see them sleeping and not coming around people. And
Right.
during this season, this time of year, when people are looking for Christmas and all of this thing, the things that are going on with COVID-19, it's
Mhm.
hard for them to function.
Right.
It makes it even more difficult for them
Now
to
let
function.
me find out, because it's a bad connection. I guess people
Uh,
may be having a hard time. Are you all having a hard time? Because I'm thinking we may have to come
Reschedule.
back another day
Yeah,
to reschedule, because this is too
Yeah.
important for us not
yeah.
to.
I'm hearing that with you. I can't
Yeah,
hear you.
and I think it's getting
Yeah, I'm
worse
hearing a
instead
lot
of
of
getting
static.
better. So, Kimani, would it be okay with you? We're going to, and Robin will come back. Um,
Sure.
I'm going to schedule for another day,
Okay.
and
Sure. That's
I'll get
fine.
back to you guys tonight or tomorrow. I need to work out on my end why
Okay.
I'm not showing, but the information is too important for people. They're not hearing, understanding
Right.
it because of the, you
Right.
know, keeping.
Correct.
So I'm going to delete this, and then we're going to. I'm going to say good night to everyone. We're going to reschedule this because
Right.
we're having a lot of feedback. So I'm
Static.
going to reschedule. I want to thank everyone for joining us
Okay.
tonight, and we
Thank you.
will schedule this at a later date.
Okay.
Thank you. You
Okay.
guys stay there for a
Thank
minute.
you.
You guys.
That's fine. Thank you.